Hey, I'm Ryan Reynolds. At Mint Mobile, we like to do the opposite of what Big Wireless does. They charge you a lot, we charge you a little. So naturally, when they announced they'd be raising their prices due to inflation, we decided to deflate our prices due to not hating you. That's right. We're cutting the price of Mint Unlimited from $30 a month to just $15 a month. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 up front for 3 months plus taxes and fees. Promo rate for new customers for limited time. Unlimited more than 40 gigabytes per month. Slows full terms at mintmobile.com.
I'm Sandra, and I'm just the professional your small business was looking for. But you didn't hire me because you didn't use LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn has professionals you can't find anywhere else, including those who aren't actively looking for a new job, but might be open to the perfect role, like me.
In a given month, over 70% of LinkedIn users don't visit other leading job sites. So if you're not looking on LinkedIn, you'll miss out on great candidates like Sandra. Start hiring professionals like a professional. Post your free job on linkedin.com/spoken today.
Hey, Dave.
Yeah, Randy.
Since we founded Bombas, we've always said our socks, underwear, and T-shirts are super soft. Any new ideas?
Maybe sublimely soft.
Or disgustingly cozy.
Wait, what?
I got it. Bombas. Absurdly comfortable essentials for yourself
and for those facing homelessness.
Because one purchased equals one donated.
Wow, did we just write an ad?
Yes.
Bombas. Big comfort for everyone. Go to bombas.com/ACAST and use code ACAST for 20% off your first purchase.
Hello, and welcome to Voices from the Battlefield, part of Waterloo Remembered. In this extract, the historian Jacqueline Reiter reads about the death of Henry Bradford, a Quartermaster General's Department officer.
The following are extracts from correspondence regarding the death of Lieutenant Colonel Sir Henry Holes Bradford. Bradford was in the Quartermaster General's Department at Waterloo and was severely wounded towards the end of the battle. He never properly recovered and died in France on the 17th of December 1816, aged 35. I first came across this correspondence in the Walter Scott papers of all places at the National Library of Scotland, MS 3888, folios 29, 31 and 35. I was actually researching the second Earl of Chatham for my biography of him at the time. Bradford was one of Chatham's aides-de-camp during the Walcheren campaign. He remained close to his former boss, and I'd read several of his long, gossipy letters, from which I had formed an idea of an eager, likeable young man. Discovering what happened to him is one of the many times I have teared up in an archive. What I'm about to read depicts the tragic fate of one promising young man cut down in his prime. It is also a signal reminder of the long-term effects of Waterloo on the men who fought there. For many, including Bradford, the sufferings of war did not end on the 18th of June 1815. The first letter, dated the 18th of February 1817, is from Surgeon Sir Everard Hume. Hume had not inspected Bradford's body, but had clearly been asked by the family to give his professional opinion on whether Bradford's wound could have killed him so long after the fact, raising the question of whether Bradford possibly hastened his own end. Hume's report opens with a clinical description of the wound itself. The ball must have struck upon the side of the vertebrae and recoiled upon the spine of the os ilium, where it was extracted on the 18th of June 1815. It healed, but an abscess took place in the liver which came to the skin, was open, and also healed. These are all the intermediate circumstances. A fever came on, yielding to no mode of treatment. Great despondency, irritability, wasting ensued, and the patient died. My opinion is that all the most distressing symptoms, the despondency, depression, emaciation, and death, which was the consequence of these symptoms, took place in consequence of the wound, by means of which the spinal marrow had been much irritated, although no paralytic symptoms followed. The brain and nervous system were disturbed beyond their bearing, and death was the consequence of the fever such a state of the spinal marrow produced. It is my decided opinion that the treatment observed in the case of Sir Henry Bradford was perfectly correct, that everything possible was done, and that nothing could have saved him, despite the circumstance of Sir Henry Bradford's apparently perfect recovery after his wound. It was often so, and I had many cases where the patient had to all appearance recovered and not complained for 2 or 3 years, when the same symptoms came on and the same consequence followed. Bradford's family were not the only ones shocked at his unexpected death. Bradford's former chief, Lord Chatham, was immediately notified of the passing of his former aide by a mutual acquaintance, Lieutenant Colonel James Blair. Chatham wrote to Blair on the 22nd of December 1817. Your letter reached me this morning, and I have in the first place to offer you my thanks for the kind and considerate manner in which you have executed the painful task imposed on you. You have indeed done justice to my feelings in thinking how severe an affliction the fatal event you had to communicate must prove to me. In poor Bradford I have lost a most valuable and intimate friend, for whom I had the sincerest affection, and whose progress through life I had followed with the most anxious interest, and it was ever a source to me of the truest gratification to find how much both as a man and an officer he was admired, esteemed, and loved by all who knew him. Most sincerely indeed do I condole with all his family on this sad occasion, and on whom I fear this most heavy blow must have come rather unexpectedly. Reading between the lines of this correspondence, it seems possible that Bradford's Waterloo wounds were as much mental as physical. In the end, I suppose it did not really matter. Everyone was agreed Waterloo had killed him either way. I will let Lieutenant Colonel Blair have the last word. It is a consoling circumstance that, in the respectable opinion of Sir Everard Hume, he lost his life in the service of his country, and on an occasion when his services were most distinguished. After having gone through all the dangers of the Battle of Quatre Bras on the 16th of June, it became his duty as Quartermaster-General to the Division of Guards to direct and superintend the defences of Hougoumont, which was so essential to the success of the eventful 18th. He was wounded towards the close of the day at the moment of the general charge which repulsed the Imperial Guard. His remains, which are now humbly deposited at St. Mary's Church in Storrington, Sussex, might, had he lived to acquire that rank to which he had made rapid strides, have rested with the ashes of the most distinguished characters this country has produced. Until his unexpected death he seemed the favourite child of fortune, for she had lavished on him every kind of favour, and he was not less remarkable on account of his personal advantages than for a mind of dispositions which did him the highest honour and were an honour to the human race.
That was the historian Jacqueline Reiter reading about the death of Henry Bradford, and Jacqueline's book, The Late Lord Chatham, is available to order online now. Stay tuned to the Napoleonicist, where more instalments of the Voices from the Battlefield series will be released throughout the day.
Hey, it's Danny Pellegrino from Everything Iconic. Ready to upgrade your style game without blowing your budget? Check out Quince. They've got all the good stuff, shirts and polos, activewear, and fine leather goods, all at 50 to 80% less than other high-end brands. And the best part? They're all about safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing. Get that luxury vibe without the luxury price tag. Hit up quince.com/upgrade for free shipping and 365-day returns on your next order. That's quince.com/upgrade.